Being lazy has nothing to do with why you are not more disciplined. You're caught up in your feelings, and that's why you're having issues with being more disciplined. And being caught up in your feelings, you are either feeling like you're helpless, so you're feeling like a victim, you feeling like you don't value yourself, you don't believe in yourself, you don't feel good about yourself, you don't believe there's going to be a reason for you to be more disciplined to get what you're trying to get to, or you feel like in the back of your mind, what you want is not even obtainable. So you figure to yourself, like, what is the point? The reason why you may feel like some of those things are not obtainable is because you have not even tried. You have not even tried to be disciplined enough to see if you can get there. And so if you have a fear of failure, or you are trying to be perfect, or you want it to be done perfectly, that's once again you being in your feelings. If you have any of that going on, then you are never going to be disciplined to go get what you want, because you don't think it's attainable. You don't think that there's a reason for you to be more disciplined on yourself and to work hard towards something, because you feel like, what is the point? So none of it has anything to do with you being lazy. I want you to stop telling yourself that. And I also want you to stop listening to people that say that without any type of root cause of what's really going on. Because 9 times out of 10, you probably excel at a lot of other things in your life. I bet you go to work every day because you need that paycheck. I bet you excel in your job because that's something that you know you can do and you've seen the results over and over. That's something that's obtainable to you. You know, you have that and you need that. So you're getting up and you're doing that. You're disciplined in that. So why can't you be disciplined in something in your life for you? You're in your feelings. You're caught up in you thinking and feeling that you can't have what you want, that it's unattainable, that what's the point in even trying? And so you have to come out of that. I need you to believe in yourself a little bit more. And I say a little bit more because all it takes is a little bit, and then to try and to keep trying and to keep going until you see the results. And I think that's also why you're not going to get up and be more disciplined, because you are afraid there won't be any results. You'll be afraid that it's all for nothing. But even if you don't get what you're trying to get from being disciplined, it's still not all for nothing. It is still something that you're doing for you. So let's take discipline out. Let's not use the word for a minute. How about you just decide that you are going to value yourself more. You are going to believe in yourself. You are going to believe you can do it. And you're going to consider it self-love and self-care. Let's not even think about being disciplined. Because sometimes I think when you think about that word, it can kind of scare you off from it. Or, I don't know, can give you conflicting feelings. So let's just take that off. Say that I am going to believe in myself and believe I can do something. Whatever it is you want to do, tell yourself, I believe in myself. I value myself. I deserve this. I deserve to have the life that I want to have. I deserve to have the things out of life I want to have. I believe in myself and believe that I deserve that and I can get that. So once you start training your mind to believe that and get out of your feelings of feeling like you're helpless or feeling like you can't achieve anything or feeling like you're worthless, whatever it is you're feeling that's causing you to stay stagnant, change your mind around it. So consider it's that you give a damn about yourself. Consider you loving yourself. So once you start there, it's going to make you look at yourself differently. Because if you still don't get up and do whatever it is you got to do, it means that you are not a priority. You are not prioritizing yourself. Look at it like that. Whatever it is that you want and whatever it is you want out of life, whatever it is you want for yourself, and if you get in this loop of feeling like I'm never going to amount to anything, or it's impossible, or it's not the perfect time, or you're feeling helpless, or you don't want to try, whatever it is, you're going to stay stuck in that loop. And I just want you to tell yourself, every time you don't get up and do what you got to do, tell yourself, I'm not a priority. I must not be a priority. Think about it like this. If it was someone in your life that you cared about you, that what you thought cared about you, or someone that you care about, whether it's a friend, a parent, sister, brother, whoever. Think about it as like that. And think about if they suddenly stop making you a priority. They suddenly stop wanting to include you in their life. They suddenly stop doing whatever it takes to be a good friend, to be a good sister, to be a good brother, to be a good mother. And they just decided that you're not important enough. I don't value our friendship or our connection enough. And they just stopped. Wouldn't that hurt? Wouldn't it make you feel like this small? Like you're not worth anything? Like you're worthless? Like you don't have value? Like you're not important to them? So flip it back on you. If you are not doing what you need to do for yourself because you're feeling like there is no point, or you feeling like you're not important, basically, you're not valuing yourself. You're not making yourself a priority. You don't love yourself. And I know that sounds like so blunt to say, but it's the truth. Something that I've realized as I've gotten older is that self-love is not something that you just learn and then you're done. I feel like as long as life is lifing, you're always going to have to relearn how to love yourself, or to love yourself again and again and again. It's not something that you just do one time. Because I've come to the realization that, yes, I learned self-love enough to have like better relationships in my life, I guess you would say. But I hadn't gotten to the point to learn it to the extent to where I fully value myself. And I also dare to say that I was being too self-compassionate to where it led over into me making excuses for myself, making excuses for my behavior, making excuses for me not doing the things that I said I would do and I know I need to do in order for me to advance and do better for me in my life. So I was stuck in that, in that wheel, on that wheel of saying, I'm just being self-compassionate, you know, I didn't do what I said I was going to do today because I was just so tired, or I didn't do that, or, it's always an excuse. It was always an excuse. And then I had to get really real with myself, like, no, you're not being compassionate anymore. You are enabling your behavior, and you're keeping yourself in that loop. And that's what I was doing. And so to get out of that, I had to think about what it is I really want. What are the things I really want for myself? And I can't give up on me. Something I started telling myself is that I promise myself. It's just like, once again, if someone you care about, or parent or whoever, promised you something, wouldn't it hurt if they broke that promise to you? You would feel unloved, wouldn't you? You would feel unimportant. And so, whenever I started to get in my feelings. Whenever I started to feel like, oh, this, you know how you get in your feelings, you get all helpless. Whenever I felt myself getting there, I snap out of it, and I'll be like, no, I promise myself. And then I go do what I got to do. Like with me going to the gym, with me recording videos, doing this podcast, doing whatever it is that I know that I want to do. And it's because sometimes if I don't see the results right away, then I get sidetracked and I get in my feelings. But I had to snap out of that shit. You got to snap out of this need to have an instant result. The results are going to be, I think, spread out. It's going to be spread out, and you're probably not going to realize that you're making progress because you're not seeing something right away each time. But it's a process, and then you'll slowly see the progress. And so that's why I said it's better to not look at it as being disciplined, but look at it as you taking care of you. Look at it as you keeping promises to yourself. Look at it as you striving for better for yourself, striving to get somewhere. Look at it as determination even. Look at it as you've been determined that you're not going to be the same person you was last month. Look at it as like you're going to be somewhere different. Look at it as like, I really want this and I'm going to go after it. And then sometimes you may realize what you're doing to work towards it. Okay, maybe that way isn't working. Let's pivot and go a different way. The plan is still there. The goal is still there, but you're just pivoting to get to it a different way. And so if you reframe it in that way, I feel you will be more prone to get up and do what you got to do. And you got to stop looking at it as like there needs to be a perfect time to do it. Just do it. It's not going to be perfect. You can perfect it as you go along, whatever it is you're trying to do. Don't look at it as that you got to have a perfect start, perfect beginning, and that it gotta have a perfect result. No, look at it as like, okay, I'll just fix it along the way, whatever I gotta do. And so it's time. It's time to stop complaining. It's time to get out your feelings, and it's time to think about what it is you want. Think about where you want to be maybe a month from now. Start small. Think about what you want for your life. Think about the life that you really want. And the way you get to it is the discipline. It's the discipline that you are avoiding. Stop thinking about how it's going to turn out. Stop thinking about it may not work. I need you to value yourself a little more. I need you to believe in yourself a little more. Value that you are important and that you are a priority and that what you want is obtainable. But you won't ever know unless you try. You won't ever know that you can have it unless you try. Don't be afraid of the failure. Don't be afraid of that. Failure is just showing that you tried. And failure just builds character. And really, to me, I don't really believe in failure. I believe in that rejection is just for me to learn from it. For me to learn how to move forward a different way maybe, or for me to go have a different plan of action. It's just like building my character, and it must mean that wasn't for me right now, or maybe not ever. It's not failure that something is wrong with me and I messed up, I fucked up. It's not that. You cannot talk to yourself in that way. It just means, okay, that's not for me. I got to figure out a different way. And something else that I've realized even more is that what helped me to be more disciplined is to make a plan for myself, for my life, that is tailored to me. You cannot tailor your life according to what someone else says you should be doing, according to what social media or the masses say that you should do it. You have to be okay with being misunderstood for doing things your way, doing things a different way. It's what's going to get it done. That's all that matters, and it's for you. For example, I used to work out at 10:30 p.m. at night. 10:30 p.m. And for a long time, I just wouldn't go work out because I'm like, I don't know when I would do it. My schedule was like from 10 to 7. And I knew that I wasn't going to get up at 5 a.m. to go. I told my husband that, babe, we can try that. But when the day came, I was like, I can't get up that early and then go to work at 10. I'm going to be dog tired and no good for work. I take calls all day. You have to be alert and awake for that. Or I'd be too grumpy and I'd be upset on the phone because I'm sleepy. And I just knew, like, that's not right. And so I felt like I was getting to the point of, okay, I'm making excuses. And somebody else on the outside looking in would say, I'm making excuses. But you have to know yourself to know that you know what's best for you. And that is not an excuse. It's just, okay, I got to figure out something else. And that's what I did. I'm like, okay, bet. I'm going to go at night. I'll be up late anyway. I'm up to sometimes I was up to 2 p.m., 3 p.m. because I had to be working to 10. So I'm like, I can just go around 10:30 after we've ate dinner, we've hung out. My husband goes to bed early, so he goes to bed. Gym ain't too far. I just say, okay, I'm going to the gym, and he knows when I get back home. And I was safe doing it. At first, he was a little apprehensive, and so was I. But I'm like, look, I got to lose this weight. I got to get it done. Some got to go. Some got to work. I got to figure out something. And so that's what I did, and it worked for me. And so I wonder how many people are not disciplined because they feel like they can't do it like everybody else. They can't plan the same plan as everybody else because it doesn't work for their life. And so they'll just rather not do it. Maybe you're not disciplined because you think you got to be like everybody else. You don't. It can be totally, totally different. Totally off the wall. It works for you. It works for you. And it's like, once you become disciplined in one thing in your life, you're going to become disciplined in other areas of your life. It's like all it takes is you to start being disciplined in one area and you're seeing like the results. And the results usually is that you just feel better that you did something for you that you said you were going to do. Like me getting up and doing what I said I was going to do for myself, the reward every time is that I did it. I did it. I may not see weight loss on the scale right away. I may not see any kind of result right away from anything. But the point is, I prioritized myself. I kept a promise to myself. I did it. And to be able to say, I did it, I'm doing it, it feels good. I'm telling you, you sitting there feeling helpless, feeling like you have no way out, feeling like you can't do anything for yourself, feeling like there's no reason to do it, feeling like, what's the point? You sitting there in that, because you believe, you really believe that there's no point in you even trying, so you don't, and you just feel bad and you can't feel better. You think that that's the only feeling that you can feel. You think like, well, what's the use? I felt like that. But once you just try it, just get up and try. Just do a little bit. You'll be like, I did it. I did it for myself. I promise you, just doing it will feel good. Just like sometimes, when we get in depression. And when you get in depression, you will find yourself, not doing the things you need to do for yourself. And it just gets you even in a deeper depression because now you're not doing anything you need to do for yourself. You're already depressed about other things. So you just it just goes down, down, down. But it's like once you have that spark and you just do something for you or do something that you need to do but have been putting off and you finally do it, it's like, I don't know what it does to you. I don't know the scientific reason behind it, but it like puts a good feeling in you. It's like, I did it for me. I promise you, try it and give yourself a chance. If anything, give yourself a chance. You are not helpless. You're not. You're not at the end of your rope. There is other opportunities. There are other things. You have the potential. Maximize it. You have to stop believing that nothing is going to work. Nothing is going to solve it. That's not true. Try it. I promise you it works. And also, as someone with ADHD, I got a few tips for you that work for me. Because with ADHD, it can come off like we're lazy. I can't tell you how many times I was called lazy growing up. And with ADHD, I think it's because sometimes our mind can be all over the place. So we don't know where to start. And so we just get tired and rather not do anything. And we just like, oh well. And so for me, what helps is to plan my day. Plan what I'm going to do and try to keep it in order. And then once you plan it, that means you have all the things you need to get done, but you have like a system going. Because for ADHDers, I feel like if we don't have a system or some kind of routine, then we're going to be just overwhelmed with everything we got to do. And then we don't get shit done. And so you have to get clear with yourself and clear in your head about the plan of action. And so when you get to the point to where you don't feel like it, you stick to the plan. I don't feel good when I don't do what I need to do for me. And that's something that I want you to realize, that feeling of you not feeling good because you're not doing what you need to do means you need to do something. And you need to get up. And you need to stop feeling helpless. And understand that once you actually do something about it, how much better you're going to feel. It only feels like it's not going to feel better because you can't fathom how that will feel better because of where you're at right now in your feelings. And so, like I said at the start of the podcast, the reason why you're not disciplined has nothing to do with laziness, but it has everything to do with you being in your damn feelings. I need you to get out your feelings. Okay? And that's what's going to help you be more disciplined. Whatever it is in life that you want to achieve, whatever it is in life that you want, it is on the other side of you being more disciplined. And also for me, that I almost forgot to share the reason why I really got up and started exercising and eating right and doing what I need to do, and why I'm still doing it even months later, it's become second nature to do it now that it's been months and I've just been doing it, and it's like I can't stop. So I had a health scare. Like, I don't know what came over me. My blood pressure got really high and I couldn't breathe, heart beating fast. I was shortness of breath, and and I had to go to the emergency room. And this is like the third time in maybe over the span of maybe 2-3 years. It's always been these little spells of this happening. Like, what is this? Like, they be saying it's anxiety, but I don't know what it was. But I looked at it as like me meaning that I need to start giving a damn about myself more. And I was like, there's no more excuses. No more being overly compassionate. Like, I have to do this for me. I want to look better. I hated how chubby my face was getting. I hated how I was growing out my clothes. I hated how I was so out of breath. I hated going to the emergency room. I didn't like that health scare. And that's what really, shaped me up. And I want you to realize that you don't want to get to that point to where you are now being forced to do it and to be disciplined because you had like that scare or something in your life to make you get up. Like, it will help, but who wants to go to that scary thing to get it, to finally be disciplined and get the hell up, you know? And so I feel like that's what it took for me. And I don't want to be scared like that ever again. So I just got up and started doing what it to do for me. And so I think sometimes we're so removed from ourselves that we don't realize we're not prioritizing ourselves. We don't realize that we are looking at ourselves and what we need for ourselves is unimportant. We don't realize how helpless we're being because we're just so far removed from who we are and what we need, and that we are stuck in that helpless feeling that we don't even realize the cycle that we're in and how we're treating ourselves. And so once you take a real good look at how you've been doing yourself, how you've been neglecting yourself, how you've been treating yourself like you're nobody, like you don't deserve a fighting chance. Like, no. And once you look at yourself like that, like you look at what you've been doing to yourself as you actually doing something to yourself, that you've been treating yourself badly. Other people can treat you badly and you can, feel it and you see it and you realize it. But I need you to realize how you've been doing you. Realize how you've been treating you. Being in that helpless loop. Feeling like there's nothing you can do and feeling like you're not worth it or it's not worth it or I'm not good enough or not perfect enough or all those feelings you're feeling. Look at how you're doing you. And when you flip it around on you and you realize how you've been doing you, you're going to do you much better. I guarantee it. So that is really the shift that I feel a lot of people need to get the hell up and just do it. Because you got to look at it as like you have been doing this to yourself. There's no one else. Quit being a victim. Quit feeling helpless. You have to save yourself. There is no one making you or making your life what it is. There is no one keeping you back but you. There's no one holding you back but you. There's no one stopping you but you. You are the cause and the cure. I need you to get up, and I need you to I just realized how this sounds. I need you to get up and I need you to start giving a damn about yourself. Point blank period. Point blank period. So flip it around that way and see how much you get done. Okay? So I don't want to continue rambling. I feel like I'm starting to ramble. And that is all I got for this podcast episode. You can always check out bonus content on my Patreon. I feel like I will have probably more to say because I tend to do that. And it'll be on my Patreon. I have a bonus episode from last week's podcast about stop getting so attached so fast. About how men can be fake emotional. I did an extended podcast episode of that on my Patreon. So that's there as well. And I know I probably have a bonus episode for this being disciplined because I feel like there's some things I'm missing. I don't know. But Yeah. Also, coaching is there. Books. I've been that girl. I've been that girl.net. Yep, that's all I got then. Until the next podcast episode, girlfriends. Peace out.